First play, first sack. Ravens show an even front, but they're going to creep Jimmy Smith here in the slot to show blitz. And you have linebacker Patrick Queen stacked on top of him, so it's a possibility that Smith comes in hot here. Queen takes over Giovanni Bernard, right? And then you have number 99, Matt Judon, showing pressure off of the edge. This side, though, you have three rushers against three blockers. The problem here is that Tyus Bowser, the opposite outside linebacker, he's going to show blitz in the beginning, but then drop back into this curl flat zone. Jonah Williams is preparing for the rush here by taking 3 kick slides, but when he sees Bowser retreat, he kind of goes back to the position where he was at, almost at a second kick slide, and attempt to take number 90, Pernell McPhee, who's being passed off from Jordan. McPhee and Campbell are going to slant their rushes into these gaps, and because Williams has to kind of reset, he loses positioning to mirror McPhee around the edge. And that's not the only issue here, because when Campbell slants his rush, he's going to give Trey Hopkins, the center, a little club and rip move to penetrate into his gap. And as we see with Williams, he gets passed off McPhee from Jordan, but he's already lost the rep before Burrow even gets to the top of his drop. And on the other side, Matt Judon kind of slants his rush, crosses Alex Rebin's face. All three of these guys have penetrated their gaps. Burrow's at the top of his drop. He has to step up. He has to do something. And as we're going to see with the all-22, even though he's got 5 receivers running routes, only one of them is beyond the sticks at the top of his drop. And when he has to step up and look for another option, as we can see, nobody's going to get open. They're going to run a little mesh concept here over the middle of the field. Green is essentially getting pressed 10 yards down the field. Nobody's open for Burrow to really do anything. A great blitz, great pressure package, zone blitz by the Ravens here. So now we go from an empty set to a full backfield here in split gun with Drew Sample and Giovanni Bernard. Now, their responsibilities are to take care of the edges here, right? Like, they're not going to creep up into these interior gaps and take on blitzers. No, they're in charge of, if anyone's rushing off the wide edge, like, they have to seal them off and keep the pocket at least contained. So Jonah Williams has to know that. He has to know that Sample's behind here. He wasn't motioned here. He was lined here pre-snap 100% of the time. Like, that's his responsibility. Williams has to know this. So Williams can't worry about Marlon Humphrey, who's off screen here, blitzing off the edge. Even if he's not even showing blitz for all of pre-snap, Williams has to worry about the edge here. Number 93, Calais Campbell. Campbell's one of 4 Ravens here that are showing blitz off this left side of the offensive line. It's potential numbers disadvantage here, and that's why all 3 of these guys are going to look into these gaps here. Like Hopkins, Jordan, Williams are in zone protection here. But because Williams, for some reason, goes to Humphrey, even though he has Sample here, you have what looks like it's just 2 double teams and 1 free rusher in Calais Campbell, who blows up the play. Now, it's possible that Jordan needs to pass on to Campbell here, but the evidence against Williams is damning because he has Sample here to help him out here, right? When Judon drops back into coverage, like Hopkins takes on number 95, Derek Wolfe, and it's fine if Jordan continues to help him out here, but Williams has no excuse to go to Humphrey here and abandon Calais Campbell. Burrow has no chance at the top of his drop. He has to do some LSU magic here, but it's 3rd and 9, and he only gets 6 yards. And as we can see from the all-22, we're going to see Humphrey in the slot here against this stacked receiver look. And he's going to blitz. And for some reason, just occupies Williams' mind and just leaves 93 wide open. Calais Campbell just goes into the rush. And the Ravens, while they blitz 6, they still have 5 defenders drop back into coverage. And the Bengals only have 3 receivers because they're in max protection. That's why max protection doesn't always do well, because if you just have more bad blockers in there, you eliminate any chance your quarterback has of getting the ball out. Cat and mouse games, man. Burrow has, again, a full backfield here with Ethan Carter and Giovanni Bernard. Ravens are only showing 5 rushers with an odd front. Burrow's going to split them out wide, go empty. But at the last minute, you have Deshaun Elliott here, the safety, creeping up, showing blitz. We go from 5 rushers to 6, at least pre-snap. That's what it looks like. But Burrow's betting that, some of these guys are just showing blitz and dropping back into coverage. And he gives himself 5 options down the field to try to convert this 3rd and long. And while he's right, the offense line doesn't stand a chance, because Williams and Jordan have to take these guys. Hopkins has to make a quick decision whether to bet on Elliott just showing blitz, sugaring this gap, or he has to take Derek Wolfe, who's a down lineman, and he has to trust that he's going to rush. But, it's not the case. The safety runs free because, there's no extra protection here. Jordan has to take on Pernell McPhee. And then Hopkins is just protecting against Wolf. Redmond's protecting against Campbell. Both those guys drop back. They get home rushing 3 after showing 6. And after he split out his 2 extra blockers wide, he has no chance. We don't have to see the all-22. We know that Nobleman was open. And we also should know that, like, if Burrow is going to throw this downfield, he has to throw it 40 yards. Because this is an interception basically every time. It's cat and mouse games, and this is just one of the many examples of why the Ravens were the cat. We're going to see Burrow motion Sample into the backfield here to give him that same split gun look. But instead of Bernard and Sample blocking the edges here, Sample is just going to watch Patrick Queen and see where he roams post-snap, if he's dropping back into coverage or if he's blitzing. If he's blitzing, that's his responsibility. You have Jordan taking McPhee, Williams taking Bowser. You have some man-on-man protection here. And Giovanni Bernard's going to take number 32, Deshaun Elliott. Ravens are going to drop back a couple of these guys in coverage, specifically McPhee and Bowser, and just rush 4 guys. And the Bengals have 7 blockers. That's an advantage that they can win. Because Sample follows Queen. He at least takes him out of the edge of the pocket here. And Burrow has to, take a couple of hitches. But he's fine, right? The only problem is he's only got 3 receivers downfield, and the one going across the middle, T. Higgins, he's also in the vicinity of 5 other Ravens. And you have A.J. Green off screen here towards the right, getting smothered, and Tyler Boyd is getting smothered to the left here, off screen. There's nowhere for him to throw it, and that's bad. But Burrow has to know, like when he's extending plays like this and escaping out of the pocket, this isn't college. Like, these guys are not going to give up on the play. Even if Sample and Bernard just do enough to get him out, to get him upfield and out of where the pocket originally was, like, those blocks aren't going to be held forever. And I know we want him to do things Andy Dalton couldn't, to extend plays, to bring that magic, but it's just not, they don't always translate. Defenders are smarter, they pursue harder, and they're just better against your protection more times than not. And if Burrow's going to do this, like, he only has 1 receiver on the side that he's scrambling out towards. It just gives himself no chance. And he has to know that these blocks aren't going to be sustained forever. It's just a play that cannot happen. This sack, I think, means something because to me, it signified the first time this entire season that Burrow looked flustered in a somewhat manageable pocket. Now, the protection isn't perfect. It's actually the first bad rep I think Bobby Hart had in this game. It was like his 16th or 17th pass set of the game, but the Ravens are only going to rush 4. They only show 4 in pre-snap. And when it looked like Burrow was about to pull the trigger on a throw that could have been completed, he doesn't. He senses the rush, and he drops his eyes almost, and he takes a sack. But again, Hart gets beat off the edge. McPhee is at the same yardage at the top of Burrow's drop. Like, he is exposed to McPhee. And he can step up and maybe make a throw here, but he also notices that Brandon Williams is iron barring Alex Redmond backwards. And when he steps up, he's right in Williams' vicinity too. But we're going to look at the all-22 and see where Burrow almost pulled the trigger. He's going to motion Mixon out wide. He's got an empty set again, but the Ravens are obviously in zone coverage because they have nobody trailing Mixon until the very end. And it looks like just either a cover 3 with like a single high safety and off coverage on the boundary on the outside cornerbacks. But right here, like, Burrow has Sample on a corner route because this corner is occupied by Mixon on the little curl. There's space opening up here around the first down marker. But he pulls it down because he knows the rush is coming. But I wonder if in the first 4 games, Burrow just takes the throw anyways. Because that's a throw that has to be made, even when your protection is shoddy, which it is in this case. Something very similar again. This time Mixon stays in the backfield, but he's going to leave it, and he's going to go in empty protection again because Sample's running around here. He motions Tyler Boyd across the formation. Cornerback trails him, indication of man coverage, but it's not exactly man. They're going to have just short zones all over the field here. But I mean, for what Burrow can expect and what has happened in this game, this protection is fine, right? You got some, usual misfits. Bobby Hart oversetting, giving himself up on the inside, right? Alex Trebin allowing Wolf to get a little bit too far upfield. A little bit discomforting. But we're going to see from all 22 that Burrow had a throw here. I mean, I know you're down 17. It's the third quarter. We want to make up the game here. But just take what the defense gives you at a certain point. Top of his drop, he's got Higgins with separation here. Like, just get Higgins a few yards down the field. Let him maybe break a tackle. Get some yardage. And if not, that pump draws in this cornerback. And Boyd is just vacated here. The middle field's closed, but that means the boundaries are open. And he's got like a couple of yards to reset his feet in the pocket and see Boyd down the field and make a big throw. But instead he abandons and tries to get as many yards as he can with his legs. This is the flustering, disrupted process that I think a lot of us were scared about with Burrow behind this offensive line. But, I mean, this protection is decent. It's not great, but it's manageable for someone of his caliber. And he's got to make one of these two throws. He can't make none, because then that just leads to a 3rd and long. The very next play, that same 3rd and long, Ravens show 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys, potential blitzers, potential rushers. Of course, we know by now they're not going to rush all 7. They're going to drop a couple back into coverage. The Bengals, with their 5 blockers, in theory, can go up against 5 rushers. But of course, that's not the case, because it's designed to take advantage of where the protection is, and the fact that the protection has to be in zone because you only have 5 blockers going up it potentially against more rushers. But even in pre-snap, you have 3 blockers against 5 guys on the right side of the center's helmet. Like, this is overload. If you have Mixon trickling out of the backfield as a potential pass protector before he releases into the flat here, put him on this side. Give him a chance to do something. Because if not, odds are there's going to be a free rusher. And, what do you know? Like, this is just a rookie quarterback failing to make the adjustments that a veteran might have done. There's just no chance for the offensive line here. Jordan has to account for Tyus Bowser here showing blitz into this gap. When he doesn't, he can take Derek Wolfe being passed off, but Hopkins already had to account for Wolfe pre-snap. So that leaves this gap open. Alex Trebin has to take the guy in this gap showing blitz, which is Chuck Clark. And Bobby Hart has to take Calais Campbell because he's got no help on the edge. Ding, ding, ding. I'm like, Mixon looks so cool, going into this A gap, blocking nobody on his way out into the flat. Meanwhile, Burrow is getting blindsided because of his own inexperienced related negligence. As we can see with the all-22, there's going to be nobody open quick enough where Burrow is looking.